Hello, beautiful people of the internet void. I'm the lovely Miss Oye, and you're listening to the Once More with Feeling podcast, an ode to the musical episode. For our premiere episode, I'll be discussing The Bright Sessions, episode 50, Rose, otherwise known as the reason this podcast even exists.
With these glasses I betroth to you the knowledge and skill that is quite far and few.
At last, Mother and Father, I am created. We went to the moon in 1969, not 1970, but a year sooner. In these halls I wasn't, will soon be buzzing with students and teachers and jocks in their sneakers. The bells start ringing and everybody's singing. Won't be alone, on my own in the hallways. No
Once again, welcome to the Once More with Feeling podcast. I love musicals, I love musical episodes and shows that aren't musicals, and I want to talk about them a bit more. So here we are. I actually came up with the idea for this podcast while listening to another podcast, specifically The Bright Sessions, and even more specifically, while listening to the episode we're going to be discussing today, episode 50, Rose. Now, this show is wild. I could spend a good 15 minutes just talking about the entire series. But we're not here for the entire series. We're here for one episode. So, to give you a good, clean, one-sentence synopsis from their website, The Bright Sessions is a science fiction audio drama about people with supernatural abilities in therapy. Boom. Now I'm just going to go right into it because I have a lot of feelings and I want to share them. One of the most beautiful things about this episode, and by extension the series as a whole, is the very existence of Rose. This character is a dreamwalker. She has the ability to go into and manipulate other people's dreams. This character, the reason she exists, the reason she is woven into this beautiful universe, is so this episode can exist. She was made so we could have a musical episode, and that is beautiful. The episode before this, episode 49, the characters are having a movie night, and it is all a bunch of musicals from the golden age of Hollywood. And the thing is, many of these characters love musicals. And the thing is, when a writer writes a character who loves musicals, you can tell whether or not the writer also loves musicals. And you can tell that Lauren Shippen, the creator and writer of The Bright Sessions, loves musicals. And I appreciate that a great deal because I also love musicals. Because many people who do not like musicals write characters who like musicals, and it shows. All right, let's get straight into this and try talking a little bit faster because we're already nearly 5 minutes in. This episode begins with Rose's song. The song is titled To See What I See. It is sung by the incredible Alana Fox, and it is mesmerizing. It's beautiful. It literally sounds like a dream. it sounds, it's like, for a show that, is all audio, I don't know how to describe it except to say it sounds exactly what you think it would look like. And so, especially with a show that's audio based, you feel that throughout the rest of the songs in this episode. Because uh, in a musical, the sound is important because obviously it's a musical. But when the sound is all you have in that musical, it's like when you hear the soundtrack to other musicals, they're made to be seen with something, but this is made on its own. So every little sound you hear, every instrument, every up and down, everything, that's what you are seeing. And this first song is such a good example of that. This song is such a beautiful way to say, hey, I am an unapologetic busybody, and I'm ready to fuck some shit up. Because that's essentially what she's saying during this song. It's a beautiful song, and I love it, but within the context of the episode. Oh my gosh, do I have the lyrics up? Give me a second. Okay, here it is. I go into someone's head when they're lying in their bed. I come in soft. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. She's a dream walker. That's what she does. They don't know that I'm there. I simply sit and stare, and I learn their thoughts. It's like, she's a dream walker, so it's still okay. But no, no. It's like, it's just, you need to understand that I've listened to this episode a good 4 times this past week. It's very good. I very much like this episode. And like, everything she says sounds somewhat benign, and then you watch the episode, and then you go back and you listen to the song, and it's like, this girl just unapologetically throwing herself into everybody's business. Rose met the other characters through Damien. She thought Damien was just a sad, broke dude. She meets the other characters and learns that he's actually a sad, broke, evil dude, and drops him like a hot potato, as she should. And that's not pertinent to the episode. I just really like Damien, and I wanted to talk about him. I will probably talk about him again this episode because he is my sweet, sad, evil, lonely boy. I love him so much. There's going to be a book about him, and I am freaking pumped. But enough about Damien. Let's talk about Agent Green. Agent Green's in this episode. He shouldn't be, but he is a dream specter, a dream conscience, a dream partner that Rose creates for her to go on her little journey through everyone's dreams. Because when you're talking to yourself, it's best to pretend that you're talking to someone else. It's more cinematic that way. Agent Green works for the AM, a shady organization that Dr. Bright once worked at. Rose met him, he's an administrator there. She liked him, which is great because I like him. So, because she likes him, we get to see him this episode. And he gets to sing later. And it's great because I freaking love this actor's voice. Ian McEwan as Agent Green and Julia Morizawa as Dr. Bright are probably tied for my favorite character voices for this series. But Agent Green, seriously, this character, from the moment he opens his mouth in his first appearance, you know exactly what this guy is all about. You know his personality, you know his place in the organization, and heck, to a certain extent, you even know his relationship with Dr. Bright. Because seriously, the first time I heard them interact, I thought to myself, did they fuck? And I think to myself, no, I'm being ridiculous. No, you're just overthinking it. And then I find out they did. I was very impressed with myself, but the majority of that work was just done by the brilliant voice acting of these two actors. It was very good. They're very good. There's a nice back and forth between Rose and Agent Green Dream Boy, and I must say, as someone who's had to construct many a conversation between myself and a fake self, it was quite accurate. They have this quick back and forth, and then we're off to search through other people's dreams without nary a care for, you know, their feelings about the whole situation. Everybody's dreams start out relatively mundane. Sam dreams of moving in with her boyfriend Mark and not being tired. Caleb dreams of playing football. Mark dreams of taking pictures and being with his girlfriend and his sister Joan, who is Dr. Bright. Also, I love how Mark's ideal dream involves his sister dunking on him. Anyway, Rose, because she is an unapologetic busybody, wants to go through Dr. Bright's mind. And although Dr. Bright is awake, Rose thinks that'll be okay. She's very put together. Her mind's going to be all organized. I'll be able to sift through that. Rose is wrong. It's anxiety, all the way down. Since it's way too early for Rose to have learned her lesson yet, she goes back into Sam's dream, which is quickly becoming a nightmare. Sam's sad and alone and goes to what I assume is 1800s England because Mark's mind was stuck there for 2 years and because Rose talks about how many stars there are. While this is all happening, Rose mentions that she doesn't really know anybody well enough to help them through their nightmares, which, once again, unapologetic busybody. Also, not very self aware. Sam's song is really fun. And hey, if you didn't know this was a musical, you know now. This is the second song of the episode. And about this song specifically, it has beats or I don't know, a feel to it that I usually associate with thinking songs or soliloquy songs. It's very theatrical, especially at the point where, well, several points in the song where she talks about. I'm just going to play it for you. I'm not good at describing it.
I never dared, I never tried to yearn for something that never could be mine. It never will be mine.
It's very nice. It's very clear. You hear the song shift with each shift of Sam's thoughts. It's very stream of consciousness. Very good. Yes, I am aware I keep using the phrase very good in regards to aspects of this episode and this series, and I refuse to apologize for it. The Dream Green Agent Machine suggests, or perhaps wonders, did Sam start singing because Rose was there? And then he says, we could have such fun with this. This is said with such glee, with such joy, and the words, I cannot find them. Because, we are going to have such fun. We're in Caleb's dream now. There's football and flirting, and the guitar on this song reminds me of my childhood.
You're a puzzle, a painting, a Shakespeare play. I understand you half the time.
It's reminiscent of those summer jams from the early 2000s that you listen to on the radio, where they talk about the beach or what have you. I dig it. This song is a duet between Caleb and his boyfriend Adam. And in the middle of this song, Rose says something to the tune of, "See, some people are having fun." And then Agent Green, everyone's favorite put upon bureaucrat boy, goes, "Yeah, for now." And this here is Rose giving herself the chance to leave before it gets sad. Because they're singing stuff like "Together hand in hand," standing together no matter what the future holds. And they are high school seniors. So you know it's going to get real sad real fast. And it does. The first half of the song, it's them being in love. And the second half of the song is them going, "Why are you in love with me? What's How is this a thing? I can't give you what you want. I'm terrible for you. Why are you interested?" At the end of the duet, it doesn't feel like Dream Atom anymore, and it seems Rose is acting as a conduit to allow awake Adam and asleep Caleb to share a dream. This is actually hinted at in the previous episode, which ends with Adam humming the tune to their duet. At this point, Rose is freaked out and confused, and she has the gall to ask, "Are any of these people happy?" "Rose, no one asked you to do this." Thankfully, Agent Green, or as I've never called him, Sexy Jimmy Cricket, says as much to her. Rose is comfortable calling herself out as long as she's not the one doing it, I guess. Agent Green goes in, and he gets specific and detailed about everything wrong with what she's doing. And this was the point at which I realized this all was most definitely not going to end well for Rose. Like, from the beginning, you think, this isn't a good idea. Nothing good can come from this for Rose. In terms of us, the audience, only good things can come from this. Because now it's time for Mark. Mark was kidnapped by the AM, an organization his sister, Dr. Bright, used to work for. Agent Green and Dr. Bright used to date, and he knew about this while he was dating her. This is why he needs to just let her go and try and find love elsewhere. He burned that bridge years ago. Mark was in the AM for 4 years, 2 of which his body was in a coma while his mind was trapped in 1800s England. Sam and Dr. Bright and Damien saved him, after which Damien kidnapped him again, and for months kept him hidden and gaslit and forced him to relive years of trauma. So, yeah. So Rose says some BS about maybe forcing everybody to confront all this will help them. We as the audience know this is BS because throughout the series, we've seen all of these characters talk about all of these issues with somebody in previous episodes, at least to some extent. And even if they hadn't, it would still be BS because it's none of our freaking business. It's not our job to meddle in everybody's affairs and, like, force them to confront stuff they maybe don't want to confront. Actually, what I love about this episode and many musical episodes in general is you don't necessarily learn a lot of new information, at least plot-wise. You do get some, like in terms of Rose and the way her power works and what she's dealing with. But for the most part, what you are learning is more about the characters and their mental processes. And you get to see them in a new light, or I suppose in a new way, because the episode, by nature of just being structured differently, we get to see their thought processes structured differently. For example, with Caleb, we know about his anxieties with his relationship. We know about his anxieties with the future. And to a certain extent, we also know his love for his boyfriend, his closeness to Adam, but by nature of the dream sequence, even with the highs and lows, we see like how absolutely necessary Adam has become in assisting him in processing through all that. Anyway, back to the plot. Rose runs away into Mark's dream, trying to get away from Agent Green, and when that doesn't work, she just outright erases him. So now we have Rose alone in Mark's dream. Mark's taking pictures, and everything seems similar to his ideal dream from earlier. And then the camera lens breaks. Joan and Sam talk about how he broke the lens and how he's broken. And then Sam time travels away because she has enough broken things in her life. Joan laments at how she gave up everything for him. And what is she left with? He's not even a person. His power isn't even his own. He's a mimic. He's only what those around him are. During all of this, he's breaking down, arguing that she has him. He's enough. He has to be. Not everything can be problem solved. And he's trying. Now, everyone in this episode gets sad. But Mark is the one that actually starts crying. So you know we're getting into it. Mark's song begins with his voice breaking. And the phrase, "it hurts so good," comes to mind because, oh, so good. Out of all the characters whose dreams we explore this episode, Mark is the most closed off emotionally. He's the most unwilling to work through all his fears and trauma. So, this episode, they make use of every second of his dreams, every sound in his song to show the audience what he's going through in terms of his emotions and how he's trying to work through all this. This song, Together Again, sung by Andrew Nowak, is, out of all of the songs in this episode, it is the strongest in terms of portraying character, in terms of portraying essentially what they're going through just in general. There are a lot of moments that I really love, but a moment I would like to highlight would probably be the change near the end of the song where he calls his sister by name.
Now I'm shattered in pieces with missing bits, a shade of what I was. A jigsaw puzzle where nothing fits. And you, Joni, no matter what you do, Joni, I'll make it through, Joni.
When I listen to this part of the song, it sounds like it should be getting bigger, like it should be swelling to the end of the song. But it doesn't. It stays soft. His voice and the instruments both stay soft and restrained. And it sounds so sad and defeated and heartbroken. And as soon as the song is over, Rose gets the heck out of Dodge, but not before Mark sees her being a voyeur. This brings us to the final song of the episode. It is sung by Agent Green, who through the course of recording this episode, I've realized is probably my favorite character. Agent Green's reprise, sung by Ian McEwan, is a reprise of To See What I See, Rose's song, the first song of the episode. This song is essentially just him telling Rose how much she fucked up, which is good. But I also get to hear Agent Green sing, which is great. This is the final scene before the credits, where we get to hear the names of all the amazing people who helped bring this wonderful episode to life. In the after credits scene, Mark wakes up, and Rose has to deal with the consequences of her actions. And yes, it is just as stressful as you'd think. I've listened to this episode who knows how many times, and I get wound up every time I listen to this scene. I've been ripping her to shreds for over 20 minutes, so I feel as if I should say that I do like the character Rose. The characters are probably the greatest strength within this series, and I can comfortably say I like all of them. Yes, even Wadsworth. If you don't watch the series, all you really need to know is Wadsworth is a stone-cold bitch, and I love every second of it. Episode 50 Rose is one phenomenal episode in a phenomenal series. The Bright Sessions is available wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much for joining me on the first episode of the Once More with Feeling podcast. I'll be back next month with another episode. If you'd like to help dig us all out of this audio quality hell, you can donate to my Ko-fi or my Cash App link. See you soon, and stay hydrated.